Hello, and good to have you back. In the previous videos, we learned how to find American law reviews and international peer-reviewed journals. We also learned how to assess their quality and learn the concept of impact factor. In this video, I will offer some tips how to decide on the journal where to publish. Also in this video, we focus on international journals. The strategy for national journals will be elaborated in another video in this module. The decision where you want to publish should be made before you even start writing your article, because this decision will affect the style of your writing, the length of your article, the approach, and the things you need to emphasize. This is why, once you have an elaborated idea for an article, you have read all the necessary literature, and you have the rough structure of the article in your head, you should make a list of journals where you would like to publish this article. Impact factors are, of course, a good indication to choose journals. But there is a trade-off between speed and quality. Highly ranked journals are very competitive, and the chances to get published there are not high simply because many people submit their good quality articles there. If you need to have publications fast, then you can immediately start from not very highly ranked journals. However, if you believe you have a very good idea, don't waste it by rushing. Take your time. Start from highly ranked journals and then go lower if you're rejected. Before making the list of journals and before starting to write the article, it's useful to consider the following aspects. Who is your target audience? Do you want to publish in a general or specialized journal? Do you want to publish in an American law review or peer-reviewed journal? Let me explain these different aspects. First, who is your target audience? Lawyers, economists, psychologists, a mix of disciplines? The answer to this question will guide you in the methodology you can use in your paper, the style of your writing, and the technicality of your arguments. For example, lawyers are usually more used to have elaborated background information, longer sentences, and precise footnotes. American law reviews in particular are very long, covering all the previous literature on the subject and including long footnotes explaining different things. On the other hand, economics and law and economics journals are usually characterized by shorter articles, more concrete style of writing, not many footnotes, and sometimes more technical arguments. Note that there is no better way to write an article. It simply depends what your target audience is used to. You will get acquainted with these differences the more articles you read. Second, decide in advance whether you would like to publish in a general or a specialized journal. There are general journals that publish different topics, but there are also specialized journals such as international law journals or human rights journals. This, of course, will affect the level of details you need to provide in your article. In a specialized journal, you can assume basic notions do not need to be defined. Your readership is familiar with the topic. On the other hand, the readership in a general journal might not be familiar with concepts in your field. So you should elaborate more on unique concepts. Is it better to publish in a general or a specialized journal? Well, there is no general answer to this question. Sometimes general journals have higher impact factors. But this doesn't mean it is not worth publishing in specialized journals. People from your field know the quality and ranking of the journals. So sometimes it might be worth publishing in one of the top journals in the field, even if the impact factor is not very high. Also keep in mind, when you write on a very niche topic, it might be simply harder to publish it in a general journal. Then you should focus on specialized journals. Third, decide whether you want to publish in an American Law Review or a peer-reviewed journal. This is important because not only the style of writing is different, but also the length of the preferred articles is very different. Law reviews expect articles of at least 25,000 words, with many footnotes and compliance with the Blue Book citation guidelines. Peer-reviewed journals limit the number of words. From my experience, the most common range is between 8,000 and 12,000 words. So keep in mind, you cannot send the same article to a law review and to a peer-reviewed journal without substantial revisions. This is another reason why it is so important to decide on the type of the journal before you start writing the article. Fourth, decide in advance whether you would like to co-author. Co-authorship has its advantages. People have complementary skills. No one is an expert in everything. This is why sometimes developing an interesting idea might be easier with two or more people on board. Co-authorship is a less relevant factor for the choice of a journal. This is relevant maybe only from the perspective of having a stronger paper if you target an interdisciplinary journal. In addition, you need to make sure all authors are on the same page in terms of their preference of journals where to submit. This is why co-authorship is still an important factor to consider in your overall publication strategy. Here are some tips on this topic. Check with your PhD coordinator whether co-author chapters are allowed in the final dissertation. Investigate your field whether co-authorship is a common practice. For example, in social sciences, it is common to co-author with others. In law, the standard is sole author publications. But this doesn't mean you cannot co-author even as a lawyer. Investigate also what is a good number of authors. In some fields, having 10 authors on a single paper is acceptable. In law, it most probably not. Investigate your field, how the order of the authors is determined. In law and economics, the default order is alphabetic. If there is different level of contribution, then the author who contributed most will be first, and usually the corresponding author. Order, just based on seniority, is not very common in our field, at least not in the Netherlands. But in any case, always agree in advance on the order of authors to avoid disappointments later. Choose your co-authors wisely, based on their complementary skills and based on your ability to work together. If you have an opportunity to co-author with your supervisor, this can be a good opportunity for you. It is easier to publish in some journals with a senior co-author. However, keep in mind, publications with supervisors are often perceived as lack of research independence and might have a lower value when applying for large individual grants. So keep the right balance. Publish some work with your supervisors, but not most of it. As a general rule, make sure first you have enough sole author publications. This will signal your expertise. Once you establish your own expertise, then you can co-author more. Otherwise, if you always co-author, it is not clear where are your own ideas and where are the ideas of others. We have now reached the end of this video. By now you should have some idea about the things you need to consider before deciding where you want to publish, like your target audience, general versus specialized journals, American law reviews versus peer-reviewed journals. This thinking process should start even before writing your article. In the next videos, I will explain about the process of submitting your articles for publication. I will discuss some strategies to increase your chances of publishing.